Are you happy in your business? Now, I have had my share of emotional ups and downs in my 20 years of being a solo entrepreneur coach. And the patterns I've seen in myself and in my clients is that those downs are usually when I was personally feeling unfulfilled. Sometimes it was because a launch that flopped, and sometimes it was just life and had nothing to do with business. But those ups, oh boy, those are the times when I was feeling my most authentic and completely aligned to my purpose, or when I just felt like I was rocking that work-life balance. I would be thinking I could do this all day long and never feel tired. One of my loves is sharing what works for me and what has been working for my clients to achieve this very feeling, full of passion, happiness, peace, and freedom. So I decided to create a private podcast for coaches. Maybe you just want to develop better communication skills that boosts engagement, leads to better results, and makes you feel like you're actually making a difference in the lives of the people you serve. Then you're invited too. We talk about this and more in the UBU private podcast for coaches. Whether you're a mentor, a parent, or run a client-focused business, coaching skills benefit everyone and anyone who wants to communicate in a way that builds relationships. Fall in love with your life and business again. Click the link in the show notes for your invitation to join us right now. Then come back and enjoy this episode. Hey there, difference maker. Today, I've got to talk about the heavier side of the Enneagram. And the type 7 in me is not pleased. I just want to focus on the rainbows and unicorns and the possibilities that, unboxing our personality can bring about, those superpowers and the positive things and our potential. But the truth is, there are some shadows that we must face in order to unbox our personality, in order to balance and heal and to be whole. Now, last episode, I talked about the superpowers of each of the Enneagram types. And if you haven't listened to that one yet, go back and listen to that one first. In that one, I share the list of the core strengths, those superpowers that your type has. And these are core strengths that just come naturally to you. They are ingrained in you. So ingrained, so innate that you might even miss recognizing it as being a strength. Or maybe your pendulum has swung the other way and our circumstances become a little stressful. That's when you might recognize your superpower, but in a negative way. And that's when it's not used in a healthy way. That's when your superpower becomes the very thing that leads to your personality's fatal flaw. Now, wouldn't it be nice to know when your personality offers you this red flag so that you know to skirt and 180 and prompt yourself to choose a healthy response instead of that knee-jerk reaction that our ego loves to do for us? It's time to stop comparing yourself to others and plug in to what is uniquely you. Welcome to Unbox Your Personality, the podcast for coaches, parents, and mentors like you who understand that your happiness makes you more effective at what you do, bringing out the best in others. I'm Jen Higgins, personality strategist and Enneagram fluff remover. Get laser focused on who you are and who you aren't, so you're free to make the impact you were born to make. And have fun doing it. Your personality is your business. So let's get down to business. Not every personality wants to talk about their fatal flaw. But in Enneagram Land, this is necessary. This is the bridge to growth that you've got to cross if you really want to unbox yourself and get on the other side, get past the typing mode and get into growing mode. Now, last episode, I shared my story of how I thought I was a type 4 And some of the life circumstances that I was going through at the time that led me to believe that I was a type 4 for so long. I was fully convinced. Now, when I realized that the type 7 patterns and motivations were a much better fit, they fit me so snugly, I felt a little naked and a little overexposed because the type 7 superpower is the power of positive thinking. And if you identify as a type 7, you probably do this so well, just like I do, and not even realize that you're doing it. You do it so naturally, you don't even have to think about it. In fact, if you identify as a type 7 and you aren't thinking positively, you might feel a little uncomfortable, or for some, a lot uncomfortable. Ask yourself this: have you ever been afraid of being the party pooper? Or maybe you kept negative emotions tucked away. You kept them to yourself because you don't want to bring everybody else down. Everybody else has their mess. I don't need to bring my mess to the table, right? You don't want to bring them down. You don't want to ruin the experience that if you're having a good time. Or you felt resentful when maybe you allowed yourself to be vulnerable to someone and it felt maybe a little patronizing, and they just pat you on the back and say, cheer up. Where's that happy smile you always have? You're always so cheery. You're going to get through this. These are the things that type 7s are very sensitive to. So they use that superpower of positive thinking as a coping strategy and to self-protect themselves. This looks like reframing. We reframe until the cows come home. We bury those negative emotions down. Get out of here. You tell yourself, just think positively and we can get out of this. It will all work out. And then just go about your day like everything is peachy and no one knows the wiser. Sometimes even yourself. And myself, because I'm telling on myself here. I'm actually feeling a little sweaty here trying to get through this because this is really about me. But this is the fatal flaw of the type 7. This over-exaggeration of the positive so much that it allows us to escape. We get to escape the pain of disappointment or limitations or deprivations that have been imposed on you that make you feel emotionally and energetically stuck on that wrong side of the bridge to growth, right? This often leads to an overindulgence of positive and happy experiences, no matter the cost. That might look like overeating, superficial relationships, overspending, getaway trips, adding new projects or other distractions that allows us to take the focus off of the pain. And it's similar to all the other Enneagram types. It's a similar pattern for each of the numbers on the Enneagram with their fatal flaw. Instead of being a superpower that supports you in your purpose, your core desires, and making that impact that you are meant to make, it becomes an Achilles heel that stifles you and keeps you from reaching that purpose and making your impact. So before I dive into this list, I want to make a disclaimer here and remind you that you are a dynamic person. You are not doomed to your fatal flaw of your personality. Remember, your life is made up of moments. Some you respond in a healthy way and some in a not so healthy way. And the Enneagram is like your litmus test. It tells you where you are on that continuum of healthy responses to unhealthy responses so that you know how to adjust and become balanced. I talk about that a little bit in the Secrets to Enneagram Typing. That's the free mini course that you can access at powercoachjen.com. Okay, so let's go ahead and get through this list of each of the types, superpowers that have turned into fatal flaws. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mention how each type is experienced by others. Remember, that's what I call the experience gap. That's the difference between what your intention is versus how others experience you. And I'm probably just going to literally just read through this because they do lay heavy on me, and I don't want to risk elaborating and accidentally boxing somebody in without knowing what your circumstances are first. But if you do want to chat more about your type, just send me a DM on Instagram at PowerCoachJen. Okay, here we go. Type 8s overcompensate in their weak moments, which comes across as intimidation or dominance, and can lead to recklessness, which is the very opposite of the strength and control that they crave. Type 9s over-adjust their needs to accommodate other people's needs, which comes across as passive-aggressive, which can lead to neglect. That's the very opposite of the connection that they want. Type 1s over-control situations or over-criticize other people, which comes across as intolerant and can lead to hypocrisy, which is the very opposite of the moral goodness that they strive for. Type 2s become overbearing with pleasing or doing for others, which comes across as manipulation and can lead to victimization, the very opposite of the selfless nurturing that they want to be known for. Type 3s overwork themselves in a way that comes across as overly competitive and self-promoting. And this can lead to deceit or exploitation, which is the very opposite of being the best, since their success is rooted in lies or half-truths. Type 4s become over-focused on pain and suffering, which comes across as self-pity and can lead to self-alienation, the very opposite of their desire to stand out and be extraordinary. Type 5s over-rationalize everything, which comes across as detachment or rejection and can lead to distorted realities or disassociation, the very opposite of their truth-seeking drive. Type 6s overanalyze the possibilities or what-if scenarios, which comes across as insecurity or ambivalence and can lead to an inferiority complex to others, the very opposite of their drive to support and guide others. And lastly, back to 7s. Type 7s overindulge in all things that give them a positive feeling, which comes across as excessive or escapism and can lead to restrictive consequences, which is the very opposite of the freedom that they're after. Phew, I got through it. Sorry for the robotic reading, but if you do want to chat about a type in more detail or more specific to your situation, just send me a DM on Instagram. It's at PowerCoachJen. And if you haven't followed me yet, why haven't you? Just kidding. But I am gearing up to take my social media to the next level, so please be sure to give me a follow so it will not be in vain. I'm really looking forward to upping that game and being able to serve you on other social media platforms as well. So that's the list of your Enneagram types' superpowers turned into fatal flaws. But I want to make a disclaimer about these fatal flaws before I let you go. Please, please, please do not box yourself into the descriptions that I've just shared today. These are our unhealthy moments. Let me say that again. These are moments as in temporary, where we're having an unhealthy response. But you have the power and ability to be able to see these knee-jerk reactions for the red flags that they are, and then follow your growth path according to your Enneagram type to a more healthy response according to your personality, which is your core motivations, your core strengths, and your core values. And the experience gap for other numbers is going to help you conjure up that empathy and compassion for others, because When we experience them as intimidating or passive aggressive or intolerant, just going right down the list there, the odds are that that is not their intention. So we can give them a little more grace and not overreact toward our own fatal flaws as well. I hope you recognize that for each type, when you overcompensate for not getting your needs met, the irony is that you push yourself farther and in the very opposite direction of where you want to be. This is why I had to suck it up and share this second part of the series, because once you unbox yourself to be aware of how you can self-sabotage, you can refocus your efforts in a more productive way. That's called unleashing your power. Thank you for listening, subscribing, and reviewing the Unbox Your Personality podcast. To learn more about yourself, go to powercoachjen.com. Find out how you are different so you can make your difference.